What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Vercitorix gaming channel. Today we are carrying on with the American truck career mode that we have just started on Tuesday. I said I would bring us back at this screen. Here we are. We're still in the job completed screen, 3 miles in. So we're going to click continue here. And what is going to happen now is we're going to have a cutscene, I believe, on our first garage that is in, obviously, Houston, Texas. So here is our first headquarters, our truck headquarters. This is your truck headquarters. It's a pretty basic garage. It may not be much, but it is a start. Unfortunately, you haven't got anything to park there right now, so there are no trucks in sight. Once you've earned enough money and bought a truck, you will be able to move in the world freely and run your business from here. Good luck. So we are based in Houston, Texas. We are right here, as you can see, in Houston, Texas. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I was saying we could potentially look at the bank. The bank is not unlocked yet, so we need to push forward a little bit more. We've got $1,883 in the bank. That's not going to be enough to buy a truck. The average truck costs a little bit more than that. So we're going to go into the job market and we're going to do some work for some other companies. Now, we are in Houston, so we're going to try and get a job from Houston. We could go Houston to Houston, traveling using 29,000 pounds of weight. Now see, this is where we are going to have a little issue. A little issue. Because I am British. I don't use pounds. Which is obviously understandable. I do not use pounds. The steering camera rotation, that should be on, I think. So, we're going to continue with the US dollars. I don't mind that. We are going to go in kilometers. But I want this to be in kilograms and tons. The reason why we're going to go with kilometers for the length of units is because that will affect the speedo. And the speedo is what I need to be. I need the stero to be American, not British. Even though I prefer miles per hour. But it is the way it is. But these are my settings, as you can see. Very basic. I haven't really changed anything on it. This one, I don't like detours, so I turn them off. I don't mind random road events. But I do not like detours. I always turn them off. And that is that. We are going to do fatigue simulation. We are going to do traffic events. We are going to play it as realistic as we can without, to a basic extent, for like this is for somebody who has never played the game before. So they're not too bothered about stuff like suspension stiffness and engine braking and all that sort of air brake simulation. They're not going to be bothered about that. Realistic fuel consumption, no, none of that. I do need to change these ever so slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my other save, into my other career. So we're going into episode 2 here. So I'm going to jump into my other career. We're going to jump back into the launch pad. And we're going to jump into my main save. The necrosis save. And what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to quickly jot down all the settings I have in there. And then I'm going to adjust it in the new save. That is going to be the plan. That way then you can see exactly how my settings are. Because they didn't seem quite right looking at that. Right, so we're back in here. So we're going to go through the settings I've got on the other one. Now, obviously, fatigue and traffic I don't have on in the other one. I will be completely honest with you. I don't have them on. Route advisor, speed warning, we all have on. We have all of this is the same. Again, detours I have knocked down. Parking. We can do random parking. That's completely fine. Time zones are disabled. They should probably be on, but I'm not gonna worry too. Yeah, let's just put time zones on. Why not? Right. So now it comes to the important bit, the way the truck is set up, especially with the mods that we have on. So your braking intensity should be around here, just sort of down to this point, maybe a little bit more. Put it about there. The truck stability, that's supposed to be all the way down and roughly sat about there. Trailer stability, we're going to turn all the way off. Drive shaft torque is all the way up here, and suspension stiffness is all the way down there. Make it feel really good. Advanced trailer coupling. Trailer cables, we're only going to have our cables. We're not going to have a truck speed limiter. We're going to have a rain sensor. We're going to turn the automatic retarder on, and we're going to also turn on automatic electricity and start. We're not too worried about that one. Parking brake, we're not bothered about. Automatic liftable cable axles we're going to have. Realistic fuel consumption we're going to have. We're going to reduce this down to 1 kilometer or less. We're going to have 0 kilometers or less here. And that is pretty much everything sorted on the settings that I have on the other save. So we're going to run with them. We've had an email while we've been doing that, and it is for brand new Kenworth trucks for sale. Visit their showroom in San Antonio. Now we do have access to the mod dealer. I don't know, we have no mods in here, so I don't know why it's look at that. You can see if we just visit our selected dealer, we visit the San Antonio one. The cheapest truck here is $115,565. And we have 1,883. You can see it's a fair way away before we can buy our first truck. I would like SCS to put in a used truck feature to the game. That's yet to happen, but we shall see what they do in the future. So, Houston. I like this. 13 tons, 1 ton, 3 tons. That's how I know. That's how I play the game. That's how I understand it. I work in tons and kilograms and stuff like that. I don't work in pounds. So we're going to take let's have a look, see what we got. We got a couple of we got all Kenworths and an Interstellar and a Volvo. The Volvo wants to go to Victoria, but we are going to start with this one here. These machine parts. We're in the Kenworth T680 from Houston to Beaumont. It's going to be a nice little quick journey for us, 166 kilometers. And what we do is we double click on it, takes us straight into the truck. Now we could mess with mirrors and everything. We probably should do if we're going to play it as realistically as we can. To a certain extent, we've got to remember that this is still a game, but we're still going to play it relatively realistically. So it's 11:29 in the morning. You can see we are sat very far forward. We know that I do not like being sat this far forward. So with F4 adjusts things. We can go, we're going to move this into a nice 77, 78. We're going to bring that chair forward ever so slightly. And I think we're also going to bring it ever so slightly down as well. I feel very tall sat in this. So I think we're just going to bring it down ever so slightly. We're going to also bring down the steering wheel angle, and we're going to bring it towards us a little bit. That's that. Onto the mirrors. So we have a nice little angle there. We can just take off the back end of the truck with the small left one. We bring it all the way around. Again, I like to see as much as possible. We don't have a side one over there, but we do have a right one. We're going to just pull that in. You can see just that edge of the trailer. It means I should have full field of view. And again, we're going to pull that right out. So we should have full field of view. We should not be able to see. We should be able to see anything coming up alongside us. The only thing we're not going to see is when they're pretty much right on top of us. Right by our door. That's the only place we're not going to be able to see, but hopefully we'll be able to see them on the when we look there, we should be able to just see their car. That is the hope anyway. That's how I like to drive. That's how I drive in real life. My mirror is very much, I can see everything by the time they come off my, if they're coming down this side, by the time they come off my mirror, I can already see them in my peripheral vision. The front end of their car in my peripheral vision. So, we're going to start this beautiful Kenworth up. We're going to have a quick look around it. We are carrying this little box on the back. It looks a little bit overkill, doesn't it, really? But, anyway, a very nice Kenworth. Like I said, I don't like these modern looking trucks so much. These more modern looking trucks. I like them, but they're not the old square box front ones. So we're going to get on with the job here. So we're going to be heading out through there and onto the road and up down there, I think. We could possibly exit over there. But I think we're going to... Yeah, I don't think it really matters. We're gonna go into second gear. Like I said, I don't always start in first gear. It's only when I'm on a hill that I do that. We're gonna go along here. And we're gonna pull out onto the left-hand lane here. Gonna have a quick look. Can't really see anything. So I'm going to assume we are good. As we edge out, we're just gonna keep an eye. And there is definitely nothing coming. We're going to go into that view. And off we go. Now, I don't understand traffic lights and stuff like that. I don't understand this right turn law that they have. But, yeah, so we're going to stop here. We're going to have a look. Can't really see anything. I don't know what this truck here is doing. There's nothing coming this way. Nothing coming round behind the truck. And off we go, starting our journey. So when it's a light load like this, I tend to jump gears. I tend to go from 6 to 8 to 10 to 12. It just means, for me, it feels like the truck speeds up a lot quicker, and I don't have to worry so much about having to change gears every 2 seconds. And I will also start off in 3rd or 4th gear as well, so I get that nice big range. It just starts up ever so slightly slower, but I get that nice big range, and it means I don't have to worry about changing gear as soon as I press go. You know what I mean? As soon as I start pressing the accelerator, I don't have to worry about changing gear. Which, if I'm in 1st gear, look, you can see it already wants me to change gear, and I'm barely moving. So I do like to stick in 2 gears, 2 gears jumping. I don't know whether they call that, whether that's floating gears or not. I'm not sure. I don't know what floating gears here is. I hear it quite often in regards to American trucks. But I don't actually know what floating gears is or how to do it. If it is even possible to be done in game. You know what I mean? So we've got this nice little journey over to Beaumont, was it? Is this the one that we're going to Beaumont? So if you want to check where you're going, if you press your right button on your mouse, you'll be able to see a little detailed description of what you're doing. So we're going to Beaumont, to the GMC warehouse. We are taking some machine parts, 3 tons. Our next rest stop is in 13 hours. So we are in a good position to get on the road, and then we just remove that and off we go. So you might be saying, well, if you're going to pull that up on the hood, that's not very realistic. In fact, I don't think you can see that. You can just see it come up. But you might be going, well, that's not very realistic. You're not going to be able to pull that up on your hood while you're driving. But while it's not very realistic in the fact of it tells you when you're going to have when your next rest is, well, it's not very realistic in that sense. It is realistic in the sense of that you would have genuinely an order with where you're going and everything else on it. So imagine it's a big part of simulation games. I imagine that is effectively my notepad. And when I have my own truck, down on this seat here, there will be a delivery report, a delivery order. So, in a sense, it is still relatively realistic. So this is saying we can go 97 down here. Now, while that may be true, for some reason my speedo is still in miles per hour, so I think 97 is about 50 something miles per hour, I think. So we're just going to sit around this sort of 56, 57 mark. I think it's around 62, something like that. I think. I'm not 100%. But if you're going to install mods into your game, I definitely recommend the physics mod. The physics mod is very good. Oh, okay, so we're going to brake here. There's a car coming up on that inside, which is unfortunate. It has killed all our speed. And if that car hadn't been coming, we'd have been able to really get going down the track. We are just keeping a close eye on our speed as we go down here. As we are playing with traffic fences on, we don't want to risk getting a fine, because if we get a fine, we're not going to make no money off this job. And when you consider this job is only giving us 1,400, it's pretty important that we don't get a fine at any point. So you can see 95 kilometers an hour is roughly about 60 miles an hour, and we're allowed. So we are 2 kilometers an hour under it. We are going to stick with that. We're not going to go above it. I've got a very tight tolerance on my cruise control. It uses a little bit more fuel, I think, but overall, I'd much rather it be a lot tighter and us not risk getting absolutely rolled over by the police in every state we go to. Because the police, they take no prisoners. You only have to be a little bit over and they have you. So be careful of them. We're getting along now. It says we can go up to 105, but I'm going to stick at 95 for the moment. Now there are loads of different apps you could install onto your computer to give yourself an idea of how long it's going to take you to do a journey, etc, etc, etc. I do have them installed, but I don't really use them that often no more. So you have the likes of Trucky and Trucksbooks. If you fancy doing this as part of a company, a virtual trucking company, they're a big thing in ATS and ETS, more so in ETS than in ATS, but they are a superb way of meeting new people within the community, joining into convoys with other people and all that sort of stuff. It is really good fun to play that, but obviously you're going to need your own truck first, so you're going to have to do a bit of work on your career mode on your own first in single player to get a truck in order to do the jobs that you are required to do, basically. So, well, I'm sure if you follow my these first couple of videos, you'll get the idea of how to get there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I know a lot of new people want to get to a point where they're buying the truck first, but financially that's not the best idea. I have dabbled in loads of different ways of doing it. It's a shame that I can't actually... I might actually try moving my truck to somebody else, in which case I have somebody driving my truck while I drive other people's trucks like we're doing now, and from there, you've got to let me over, mate. Thank you. Right, so we're going to have to slow down here. Because the speed limit is changing. And we're going to go on a go left. Now, I believe that this here, this little turn in here, if you take that, you will actually end up back on the interstate, I want to call that. Or the highway, is it they call it? It's the motorway to us British, but I don't think it's they call it a motorway. So we're going to go left, swing that thing round. We have been caught on a red light, which is unfortunate again. But yeah, I don't know whether it's possible to do it. I think it might be possible to do it, but if you can give a truck to somebody else, they can earn you money while you drive for other people, and then that way then you've got 2 lots of income coming in rather than just the one. And we might give it a try in this one and see if we can do it. But it would require us to expand I think it might require us to expand first. So we might need to expand the garage into a 3-person garage and then move on to... That might be a little bit of an issue. If that's the case, it's going to take too long to expand the garage, I think. We might just get a loan to buy our vehicle. It just depends on how you guys would rather me do it. I think realistically, you're more likely to buy the truck yourself and start doing your own jobs rather than doing jobs for, you know what I mean? I think that's what you're more likely to do. We are heading into here. So we're just going to have to wait until somebody will give us the chance to go. I don't know why they do this. Why are they stopping? And then they just start moving, look. Thank you. You're going to stop or you're going to go? The AI is not the best. So this time it's actually told me to do simple parking, but as you know, we put it on to random, so it will randomly give us a parking. We're not quite in place, I don't think. Now we are. So we can have a look. Like I said, go down into the gears, make sure you're in neutral, in park. Put your hazards on. There's something I forgot as I came in. And there we are. We are in place. Then we go like this. And machine parts have been delivered from Houston to Beaumont. 166 kilometers, 2 hours and 33 minutes, and 21.6 gallons of fuel has been consumed. We earned $1,384 for this, bringing us up to a level 1 newbie, which means we can unlock our first thing. Now, I'm going to... Normally, I would unlock long distance because I like to do deliveries that are quite long. But the problem with deliveries that are quite long is, obviously, you guys, do you really want to sit through a video that's going to last several hours? If you are, let me know. But it's most likely not going to happen. So we're going to take a... We're going to take the high value cargo and we're going to apply that. We have also had an email since where the bank has basically said, we thought you might like to know that we offer favourable loans to new businesses. Do you need funding to get your business running? We are here to help. Please visit your local banking centre for more information. So if we go to the bank, they will tell us how much we can borrow. We can borrow $130,000, which would be nice, but we have to remember that if we buy our own truck, we're going to have to fuel it. We want it to look the way we want it to look. So ideally, we're going to want at least maybe 150,000, 160,000 to put into our truck, into our own truck. So I personally would be saying, right, let's get to around 50 to 70,000 cash without taking a loan, and then take the loan just to top up that extra 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever it is that we need at that point. The account balance is only 3,267, so we've still got a fair old way to go. But that is going to end episode 2 of the career mode. If you have enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment, let me know how things are getting on, let me know which vehicle you would like me to purchase. Do you want me to buy a Kenworth? Do you want I've completely blanked. A Peterbilt or a Freightliner? I quite like the Freightliner Cascadias. Let me know what you're thinking. But obviously, we still have a way to go in terms of normal money before we can look at buying our own truck. But we will be back on Saturday with another American Truck Career Mode video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave those likes and those subscriptions to the channel. It means a hell of a lot. And I will see you again very shortly. Have a good one, guys.